Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing the new LCC Camo Cream. I have the shade Fair 120N, and I wanted to do an in-depth video about the ingredients, how it wore like the last time I wore it, which was yesterday, and kind of everything about it in the shade range. So if you want to see all about that, then keep on watching. For primer today, I'm actually going to go in with the Catrice Prime and Fine Makeup Transformer Drops. You're supposed to mix them in with the foundation, but I kind of like to put it on top of the skin by itself because it provides a tacky base. For brows, I went with the Morphe Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Hazelnut. And since my hair is kind of a different color, I try not to do a whole lot just to make it look like the sparse areas are filled in. And since this is a foundation-focused video, I'm going to do all my eyeshadow and everything off camera, and I can quickly go through all the stuff I use so it doesn't take up a whole lot of time. I went ahead and did the eyes. For the transition shade, I used this Profusion Naturals palette, and I used the shade Amore, which is this one. It's kind of a good red, it would kind of just be more called a smoke red, but anyway. And then I went in with the Too Faced Enchanted Forest palette, and I went in with the shades Reindeer Games, which in the very bottom corner, it's like a deeper red, kind of a darker version of the one that I used in the transition. And for the lid, I used the shade Jingleberry. It's kind of a pressed glitter rather than like a metallic, because it has a pretty chunky consistency, but you can see how it turned out, and I really liked it. For the eyeliner, I used the same Essence Super Precise eyeliner, and for the mascara, I used the Essence Volume Stylist Curl and Hold mascara. And next we're going to move on to the foundation. To test the foundation, I'm going to take the sponge on this side of the face and the brush on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and start with one pump of the foundation, or the CC cream, onto the sponge, and we'll see how far that goes. So I'm going to take that and go one. And about knock my candle over. So we're just going to take that and stipple it. First impressions, it blends out really easily. And one of the reasons that people have been really liking this is that you don't need a whole lot. And that's just with one pump, and I'm not even done blending it yet, so. The ingredients in this, it has collagen, peptides, and niacinamide, which are all great ingredients for skincare. On the directions, it says apply 1 to 2 pumps of the CC cream to clean skin using the Duo brush, which I don't have it, but I have one from them I'm going to use on that side. And it says to wear as a moisturizer or full coverage foundation depending on your needs, so it's kind of a multitasking kind of product. It says to apply every 2 hours, but if you're kind of set it, I don't really know how you'd be able to reapply it without getting cakey. Put that on the nose. And I'm starting to wonder if I can get this much coverage out of the sponge, how much are we going to get from the brush? Because typically with brushes you get more coverage since it's not absorbing as much as the product with the sponge. Take it down the neck. I feel like one of the things I struggle with sometimes with like foundations is that I'll get this whole area covered, but then up here it's like I have to take like a half pump just because I've kind of used up everything that the sponge was holding. I'm going to take a half pump, just a tiny bit, just to get the forehead covered. That redness that we have on the top up there. I might take a half pump on underneath my jawline. Alright, and that's the sponge side. Before I start doing this side, I kind of wanted to come closer so you guys could get an idea of how the texture looks. I think when you get like really close up, like you can tell that like the texture's there, but when you like come back farther, like it kind of diminishes. So I feel like And I think it'll look different when you get the powder and the concealer just right before, though, as like the first impression. You can tell that, like, it didn't get all of my scarring, but it kind of helped neutralize the whole thing. I'm going to do the same thing with the brush and start off with one pump to see how it covers the side of the face. So I'm going to take that. I feel like e.l.f.'s been really killing it with their recent launches. I kind of, with this brush, I kind of like to stipple it. I don't really kind of do that whole buffing, because with my acne scarring, it kind of helps it look worse than it did before. So I just kind of try to not do those motions because it can make it look choppy. Well, I think this might have more coverage than the sponge, which I kind of expected since brushes usually give you a better coverage, but compared to the sponge, that's like insane. The only spot that I'll usually like actually drag the brush is like in between the nose here, just because you've got that crevice. Kind of the same thing happened with the forehead here. Now it doesn't want to apply well, so I just did like a half pump, not to overdo it. And I feel like it's easier to come down the neck with the brush, where with the sponge is kind of difficult sometimes since you have to like stamp it in. With this you can bring it down like physically. I'm going to bring you guys closer so you can see this side. Alright, we're zoomed in, so I'm going to show you guys this side. And I think looking at it like first glance like that, I feel like the texture over here looks worse than this side. Like, I don't know if it's different on your end, but for some reason it seems like this side specifically is smoother. And I think, I don't know. Part of me almost wants to say that I feel like there's more coverage on this side. And that's weird because I thought the brush would have more coverage since it doesn't absorb as much. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how it turns out in the end. For concealer, I'm going in with the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer in the shade Fair Warm, and this is the regular matte one, not the hydro one. I have to be really careful with this because it's pretty light, so I can't put a whole lot on. And you have to hurry because this stuff likes to dry really quickly. I think that blends out really nicely with the CC cream. I used this yesterday with the the Tarte Shape Tape, which I thought it turned out pretty good, but this is it's good for like highlighting the under eye. I think I'll add a bit more to balance this out. Just a dot. Because if you try to draw like stripes with this concealer, like it can go overboard so quickly. I'm going to go ahead and set it with the same Huda Beauty powder. For bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Rimmel Maxi bronzer. I think this is just one shade. Nope, this is 003 Dark. I'm going to go in with that on that same LA Colors brush. I use this one once in a while. Like, it's not my favorite bronzer. I feel like the Benefit Hoola one's still my top favorite, but this is a close second. I kind of like it because it's, I would say it's a more cool tone. And I like it when I want more of a cool tone rather than like that warm tone from the Huda one. And it's got the 3 strips, so it's kind of like you swirl them all together. This piece of hair is driving me nuts. I tried to put my hair in a bun today. You can turn around and see it, but I'm usually not very good at them because I have pretty thick hair and they don't like to stay on my head, so the fact that it's been on since noon is an accomplishment. I'm gonna move on to blush next. For blush, I'm gonna go in with the Balm Beach one from the Balm. It's this good kind of peachy, kind of a nudie blush. It's kind of a good mixture of the two. It has a slight sheen. It's still pretty matte. Is it matte? I don't know. It doesn't say that it is. I feel like it has... Maybe it's not. That's how it is swatched. I don't think it has any kind of sheen to it. The other one I have in my drawer right here, the Milani one, this one has a good sheen to it. This is in the shade Blossom Time Rose. I typically don't like it when blushes have a lot of pigmentation because I'd rather build them up than have like one stamp and it just explodes everywhere. This blush looks good with the look because it kind of matches the eyes. I think I got this. I don't know. I got it at Kohl's because they sold the Balm there, which I didn't know they did. I thought they were online only. But they have a lot of good products. Alright, I got the blush on. For highlight, I'm going to go in with the NYX Born to Glow Eyeliner. Is that what it's called? Yeah, in the shade Stand Your Ground, which is this one. I got it on clearance, so that's why the sticker's on there. I would say it's more of a glittery one, which you have to be careful with it. I don't like to go when I just dropped it. I don't like to go fully overboard with it, so just take a tiny little bit so it doesn't become too much. It just adds that kind of good, just a soft glow, like it doesn't need to be super chunky. I'm not going to do the lips for this one because of the nature of the highlighter. I've actually never tried the Hourglass powders. I've heard great things about them, but they're really expensive. Got that side done, and this side. One thing I used to do a lot is I used to take the highlighter and do it like above my eyebrows, and I found out that actually kind of ages you, so I quit doing that. And sometimes I try not to do a whole lot because wherever you put it, sometimes it can kind of drag your eyes down, depending on where you put it. Specifically like with the brows too, it can cause your brow to not have the lift, it kind of causes it to droop a bit. I saw a whole video on it too, I can't remember who uploaded it, but it was pretty interesting. I think the highlighter is done. And I actually ran out of setting spray. The bottle that I have is basically gone, and the one that I have at school I don't have here, so I'm going to go straight to the lips. For the lips, I'm going to do something really natural. We're going to do like a lip liner and like a lip gloss or a balm over it. I'm going to go in with the LA Girl Intense Stay Auto Liner in the shade Keep It Spicy. I'm going to take that and kind of just go around the edges. I've had to be careful with these lately because it seems like they got drier since I first bought them, so you don't want to pull on them too hard. Trying to make sure I don't block the lips like last time, because I noticed in the last video when I was putting lipstick on, I held it right here the whole time. So, let's not do that again. Alright, I got this line. I'm going to go in with the, what is it? The e.l.f. Ride or Die Lip Balm in the shade Tough Cookie. I'm going to go in with that on the Morphe 421 brush. It's not a lip brush, but it has a good size for it, so I'm going to use it as that anyway. And I got the product on the brush, and I'm just kind of going to stipple that on there. And at the same time, kind of blend it in with the liner so it kind of gives you that illusion. It has a really good scent too. I think it smells like kind of a vanilla kind of scent. It gives nice color payoff, and it's not heavy since it's a lip balm. It's very lightweight in my opinion. Do the upper. Into the last quadrant over here. It looks really natural and it has a good illusion with the lip liner, and I really like it. If you want to take it a step further and have more gloss on top of it, I would go in with the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Reef. I'm going to take just a tiny bit. I'm not going to cover like the whole thing. Especially with this gloss. It has a pinky tone to it. It just kind of gives like that fullness. And it adds a good plumping factor. It has hyaluronic acid, which also helps with that. Now to kind of go over like the pricing of it and if I think it's worth it in the shade range. I think that the shade range is okay for now. I feel like they started off really good with the deep shade range. There's always room for improvement there. You can always add more. I feel like with the light to medium, the undertones are really weird because I bought mine at Kohl's. I was looking at the light section and the undertones were just very odd. So like the one that I got, like I have pretty neutral skin, I think. The one that was next to that was just very yellow. Like it was, you could tell in the packaging it was just very evident that it had a strong yellow undertone. And then the one after that, which I forgot the name of it, but it had a very strong pink undertone, which I don't feel like I had a lot of pink. And I feel like a lot of brands tend to have a lot of pink in the light because they think all undertones are that with fair skin, and they're not. So I feel like they could kind of develop a better undertone range because it just seemed like it was very sporadic. For $14, which is how much this cost, I think it's good, but I think for the whole drugstore around, it's starting to become pretty expensive, I think, because just $14 for that, it feels worth it with the price. But if you don't have like the certain kind of skin that would work for this, it may not be worth it for you. And after wearing it last night, I thought it held up pretty well. But it kind of reaches a point where it becomes like super greasy and you have to take it off. But that's like late at night when, you know, you're going to bed and everything, and it doesn't really matter at that point. But overall, I feel like the drugstore is starting to become really expensive, and it sucks because usually you go to the drugstore to find affordable options, and now it's starting to get almost to that $20 range. Like, This is almost $20. As of right now, I feel like this could work for almost any like kind of skin type, because like I have oily skin. I can't talk for anyone that has any dry skin because I don't have dry skin. But I'll have to read more reviews and let you guys know about how people with other types of skin feel about this. I think if you're oily, it'll last you a good amount of the day, but it'll reach a point where, especially like in this area, like this is the worst amount of grease that I had at the end of the night, which that was around 11 o'clock, so I was getting close to getting ready for bed anyway. But right here was where it got really bad. My under eye was fine. It didn't really crease much and it was still pretty matte, so that takes us to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me review this. I really enjoy going in depth into the ingredients and all that. So if you have any suggestions for other things that you'd like me to review, drop them in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you the next one. Bye.